Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to the final installment of my A to Z reading challenge for this year where I've been trying to read books that have letters of the alphabet in the title. Obviously there are some very tricky letters and I'm not about going out to purchase and acquire even more books for my already very lengthy TBRs. So sometimes I stretch the first letter stipulation just because if a book title has the letter Z in it somewhere, I'm going to count it because I'm not going out here trying to find books that start with Z literally for the sake of a video, especially since this whole concept came around from trying to read down the TBR that I already had. We are in the final installment. We are going from V to Z today, kicking off with Escape Velocity by Jess Anastasi, who is an Australian science fiction romance author. Escape Velocity is the first book in the Valiant Knox series. We are following Sasha, who is a doctor aboard a big military ship, and Kai, who is the best friend of her deceased husband, and Kai was thought to have been taken prisoner and killed in the war. However, at the start of the book, his body is recovered. He has been a prisoner of war. He's very badly injured, suffering from malnutrition, etc. And Sasha is part of the team that helps him to recover his strength and get back on his feet. This one does have a lot of sort of world building happening in it as it's building up this world, the enemy, who they're fighting, how everyone is involved. It was just fine. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue the series, but it was good to finally read this one since it's been on my TBR for a while. Then I read The Word Spy by Ursula Dubosarsky, or this is technically a reread for me. I haven't read it since it first released, and it first released back in 2008. So it's been a while, nearly 20 years since this book has been released. And this is a really great nonfiction book for kids, all about the history of the English language, the amazing things that the English language can do. You have a narrator who is talking through all the different components of the English language, from phonics to different types of words. And each section also comes with its own set of puzzles and clues that you can follow through the course of the whole book. So if you have a kid who is a bit of a word nerd, who loves a puzzle, who loves to try and unravel a riddle, this is a really great book to pick up. I'm glad that I came back to reread it because we've been doing a lot of work around language at work this year. I also read X's and O's by Kayla Grosse for the letter X. I had an audiobook for this out from the library, and this is narrated by Stella Hunter, Stephen Dexter, and Grayson Owens. This is a polyamorous MMF romance between a married couple and a guy that they rescue off the side of the road. So Morgan and Fox are happily married. They have been since their teens. They've been together for a very long time. They are very much into the kink lifestyle. They have a dom-sub relationship. Morgan is a switch. They have been in a polyamorous relationship that has gone south previously. And then we have Nathan, who at the start of the book has quit his job. He's really frustrated with his job. He's quit. It's just before Christmas. He's gone driving. His car has ended up in the snow, and Morgan and Fox find him and take him back to their place. And they kind of start playing some games with him, which is very hot and very steamy. It's a very, very steamy book. But they introduce Nathan to polyamory. He has a bi-awakening through this experience. This book does feature primal play and dom-sub dynamics. There is also PTSD from military service embedded in this, as well as mentions of death of parents, so just be mindful of that. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I also read Yours for the Season by Uzma Jalaluddin, I think. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. This one is another holiday romance. This time it is very much a low steam, I think there's kissing on page, maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, it was great. I got this as an Amazon early release and I'm so glad that I did. This was really, really fun. We have Samira and Tom. Samira is an up-and-coming corporate lawyer. However, her company is putting pressure on her to make up her billable hours, and she's falling woefully short. And so she's trying to come up with ways to make herself look attractive to keep her job and her position, essentially, because there's been rumors that jobs are going to be cut in the new year. And at the staff Christmas party, she happens to meet Tom, who is an up-and-coming chef. He has his own social media account. He's not really planning on opening a restaurant and doing all those things. He's really happy with sort of his niche of creating videos online, but he also has a catering business and he is catering this event. And the two of them hit it off. And when she happens to go and hide out in the kitchen because her mother is on the phone, and I should say Samira is part of the Desi community, and her mother calls her in the middle of the party to not only tell her she's working too hard, she needs to go home even though it's a staff party. She also then gets stuck into Samira for, you know, not being married at nearly 30. Tom is in the kitchen while this FaceTime call is going on. And so her mother seems to take it into her head that Samira and Tom are dating and that Samira is keeping it from her because previously Samira has had a boyfriend that she hasn't told her family about. Anyway, the next time that Samira and Tom meet is at Samira's parents' place because her mother has hired Tom for one of their parties because she believes that they're dating. Somehow in all of this, Samira happens to end up in one of Tom's videos, and it does really, really well. And so Tom and Samira come up with this idea of fake dating for mutual benefits for both of them. Samira will appear in Tom's videos, and Tom will try and introduce her to a potentially big client that her company would like. And so they work out the arrangements of this, and they tell everyone that they're dating. And then Samira's parents invite themselves to Tom's parents' place in Alaska for the holiday season, and all of them end up in Alaska at this family home celebrating Christmas with some hilarious results. It is utterly delightful. It was so laugh out loud funny. You have an over-the-top villain in terms of this very big billionaire that Samira is courting for her lawyer firm, who happens to be Tom's best friend, and he's just delightfully over the top. And then you have Samira and Tom's siblings, who are also excellent. You have a lot of family dynamics. Samira and her family are trying to work out this happy equilibrium in which they exist, because for the longest time Samira has sort of cut herself off from her family. But I had a wonderful time with this book. It was a pleasant surprise, and I'm glad that I read it. And then for Zed, the best I could come up with was Hazel's Christmas Duet, so we're just going to go with it. This is by Olivia Rian. It's a novella. It is the story of Hazel, who has escaped to a small town after breaking up with her boss, and she just wants to start a new life. She ends up volunteering with the town orchestra. She's a violinist. And there she meets the orchestra conductor, whose name is Michael. And it turns out Michael is blind. He has, I've forgotten the name of what happened. He was born with sight, but he's lost his vision over the years. And she begins to fall for him. She finds him really charming. She really likes him, but he's been burnt in the past by partners who have not been able to cope with the fact that he cannot see. And so he is very much the person who is resisting this relationship. But Hazel proves time and time again that she genuinely likes him. She wants to get to know him better and to be part of his life. And so it's their little story set in a small town at Christmas time. It was just very light, fluffy kind of reading. And that, my friends, is the end of the A to Z. Read down my TBR challenge. I do not know if I'm going to do this next year because it's honestly really hard to find letters of the alphabet. I would just rather read down my TBR, to be honest. But if you've enjoyed the series, feel free to let me know down below, and feel free to suggest books for any of these letters. I'm always happy to add books to my potential list, especially if I've never heard of them before. If you just want to let me know that you're here but you don't leave a comment, feel free to leave an emoji that starts with any of the letters from this video. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.